Hey everyone, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is Season 5 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Checking the mics.
Thought it was a teenage dream, a fantasy, but was it yours or was it mine? 17, 29.
Go write a documentary about it, dummy.
Actually, Demi said she's not going to do any more documentaries. She said that
until next week.
She says that she thinks people are probably sick of her.
Until next week.
Well, I guess we should start episode
218.
218. How is everybody?
Everybody, I think everybody's doing good. You know,
welcome to Pero Let Me Tell You.
Oh yeah, we should say that. Yeah.
Episode 218.
Yeah.
And as summer comes to a close, we're still cool for the summer.
Yes, we're all lesbians now.
Well, temporarily.
Right.
I know when I was a lesbian.
Do you? Was that at that time that Lilith fair?
I was a lesbian for about 3.5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And and you were a lesbian
we
too.
We were all lesbians.
That was in the 19
Grammys.
2019 or 2018
yes,
Grammys.
That's true.
When Dua Lipa duetted with Saint Vincent. If you guys haven't seen it,
look it up.
Duet.
Do yourself a favor.
28. I forget it was 2018.
But do it
or
like in a place where you have privacy, just in case.
Dua Lipa and Saint Vincent Grammys.
Performance.
She sang.
I couldn't even tell you what she sang because it was just hot.
One kiss is all it takes.
One kiss. Yeah.
And then the other one sung Saint Vincent's.
Okay, I'm not too familiar with Saint Vincent's catalog.
But anyway,
I'm not that Catholic.
It was like wow, like
yeah.
Because I know you don't like faux lesbian.
I don't.
But this
wasn't faux lesbianism because they weren't trying to be lesbianic. They were just like, we're just gonna be sexy on stage.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, welcome to Pero. Now that we got the lesbian talk out of, welcome to Pero. Let me tell you, everybody. How was everybody's week?
Well, I think people are doing good. Summer's coming to a close, but long weekend coming up.
Doesn't really mean anything in Miami, right?
This is true, but long weekend is coming up, which is always nice. Labor Day weekend.
It's not this week.
No, but people already are looking to the horizon.
Yeah.
You know how that is. Cuando viene fin de semana largo, it could be 3 weeks away and people are already planning.
So as we said, it'll be cool for the summer.
God. Just don't have a melon cake.
That's a good first topic.
Faux lesbianism?
No. So as some of you may or may not know, Demi Lovato, who I have a soft spot for, I love Demi Lovato.
You may have heard over the course of 200 plus episodes.
She really, and she is going by the pronouns she, her again.
Yes.
She released an album before, we get that email.
Right, yeah, exactly, guys.
Before we get that comment.
Check yourselves.
Right. She actually is still, it's a they, them, she, hers.
She's basically doing a play on what RuPaul once said, which is, you can call me he, you can call me she, you can call me Regis or Kathy Lee, as long as you call me.
Right. Wow, that's pretty good. As only RuPaul will come up with that. But she released in her album this week that came out a song called 29, and the chorus, as you heard me singing, it talks about finally 29, the age you were at the time, right. And she says 17, 29, which is how old she was when her and Wilmer Valderrama met, and obviously the song talks about that experience. Like, she's been very careful and not to name him or say anything about him in interviews, which people ask her about the song.
Right.
All she has said is the song speaks for itself. Right.
Well, clearly not if they're asking.
Well, but but obviously because they know it's about him.
Right.
They want her to name drop.
Because he's a celebrity. If he wasn't
him under the bus and all that. So, what do you think about her or anybody, especially if you're a songwriter, of people, especially that are public, writing material or sort of throwing them under the bus lyrically? Do we think that's okay? Do we think that's cool? Do we think it's their honest truth? Is their authentic self? Or maybe they should have discretion because this is somebody else's life now, and it's been some years.
I think it's a fine line. I mean, on the one hand, Taylor Swift would have no career. But on the other hand, if it's a situation, I think, where, I don't know, I'll use a very dated example, but, like if you're Tina Turner, right? And you're singing a song about surviving spousal abuse and things like that. I feel like that's something that was so public. It was so, there's a survivor story element to it. That's one thing.
Did Tina Turner ever release any songs about her?
Not as singles, as far as I know. The closest we ever got was when What's Love Got to Do With It, the movie came out. She released a song, I Don't Want to Fight.
Right.
But the thing is that because I believe Tina doesn't really write her music, or she co-writes it.
And that song, that's I don't wanna fight
anymore.
No right. It's time for
letting go.
Right, but that's a very
very por arriba. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's the closest we got.
That's not really autobiographical.
No. Por eso te digo, that's the closest we got. But something like that, I would say it falls under the heading of maybe like quote unquote okay, because we're talking about something that like everybody knows about. Both parties really have spoken out about it and so on. But when it comes to things like this, where, especially when we're talking about a situation like that, where, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't start dating, right? At that age, that's when they met.
Yes, but they started dating as soon as she turned 18.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
so she was legal.
So as far as the law is concerned, no laws were broken. But here's what happens when you write a song like that. Now Wilder Valderrama is at that at that pizza joint with Hillary Clinton and QAnon. Right.
Well, it's funny because in her second documentary, Simply Complicated, she does say that she talks about that, and she says that they met at 17, and that she had to have him, and that she was like in love with him, and that he was like, no, you're 17, like you have to be 18. So I think that she's never like made an allegation of statutory rape.
Okay.
Right.
Or that he instigated or anything. Right.
I think that her angle from the song is that now that she is 29,
would she have done the same?
Right.
Sort of?
It's like, okay, it's a 12-year age difference in a very significant time, because it's not
we're not talking 30 and 42.
Right. Or 35 and 47. Right.
Right.
You're talking about somebody who's
you're coming into your own.
Barely an adult or
Right.
just turned to an adult, and somebody who's a lot more seasoned, who's already practically in their 30s. So I think the song is more like, okay, yes, technically maybe I was legal when we started hooking up or whatever, but like, was that really the right thing to do? Especially that you were older and you should have known better and all that.
But once you're 18, you're 18. I mean, I'm sorry. Like,
right. I always thought that them together... I can't say I didn't like them together.
Same.
I thought they looked good together.
They kind of made sense in a weird way.
Yeah. I always thought that was kind of weird because Wilmer Valderrama is like our age.
I just never thought about how old Wilmer was.
Right. But Wilmer Valderrama is like our age. So I was like, I would never date, especially at 30, somebody who's 18, because it's like, you're a kid.
What do I have to talk about?
Right. But you're a kid. Like,
right.
So I just saw it more from that perspective. So, I mean, that's really interesting. So, funny story, people. So, Tristan, my kid, I've been playing that song on, Demi Lovato on repeat. So, Tristan tells me the other day, he's like, why is she singing a song about 1729? Thinking about like the year, and I'm like, well, it's not really about the year. It's just about, how you grow up from 17 to 29. And then he says,
not a lie.
Right. And now he said, when you were here, he said something like, what about
1492?
No, he goes 1475. And I go, well, if you're going to write about song 1475, that's a whole other shtick.
We do not want that song to happen, kids.
That's a whole other story.
That is an episode of Dateline, is what that is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
Touche. That's not gonna end well.
That's when that guy shows up.
End well, and we don't support that song.
No, that's when ¿cómo se llama este tipo? Stone Phillips or whoever, he shows up in your kitchen. Nope.
No,
thank you.
No.
We're good.
Yeah.
We are good. Thank you very much.
So there you go. 1729.
So I wanted to touch on something really quick.
Nothing we do is really quick.
I know we're like the podcast version of Proud Mary. So last week, as some of you may have heard, we talked about Eva Mendes and her sponges.
La esponja Eva Mendes. And by the way, people, we love Eva Mendes.
And I think it's fucking great that she has a sponge company. Like, why
yes,
not?
We love Eva Mendes.
Like,
and I don't take back what I said of that because some people gave us some shit. So we posted it on TikTok and we posted it on Instagram, and some people gave us shit. We weren't laughing at her. It was surprising. Eva Mendes, you know, more power to her. She decided to take a break from her
to raise her kids.
To raise her kids. More power to her. You know, that's awesome. But I just thought it was like funny that this is what made her like go public again.
Right. And
right.
Usually,
it's not an insult to her.
No, it's just that usually when you talk about celebrities, it's like a fragrance line.
Right.
Shoes.
Right.
Wigs.
And also,
you know?
and I feel that Eva Mendes sort of walked away when she was at a high point of her career, or like her career had enough momentum,
right? That she could have,
it could have gone even further. Like
she made the decision to walk away.
Right.
She didn't walk away because
Eva Mendes was a has-been and making you know B
sci-fi movies
and all this crap. You know, no, she was like very much
in
demand actress, and she on her own terms and for her own reasons decided to scale it back. So more power to her. It wasn't an insult, people. Like,
at all. And it's just, but what I love, and this is something, you know, you and I had this conversation, but para que tú veas, you know, as we all know, I work in marketing, and a lot of times, you know, you'll have clients who will be like, let's make this so it goes viral, and we have to create, and I want my content to go viral and go viral. I guarantee you, people, that when I posted that, I did not expect 18,000 plus views and counting on TikTok. Mm-hmm. I did not think que Las Esponjas de Eva Mendes, which should be a novela, was going to elicit such a response. Again, para que tú veas que you never know. The internet is a Wild West. It is the Wild West.
Well, I mean, esponjas are a wonderful thing. And you know, let's talk about this for a minute.
So now we're going to talk about sponges?
No, we're going to talk about Cuban Clean.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Because Cuban Clean really is a thing.
That's also why she
Cuban
brings
Clean
a credibility.
Really is a thing. It is a thing.
La señora que limpia mi casa. When she leaves and I come in, it smells like Clorox.
Mira, I have to tell you that, you know, I've done a significant amount of work of field work in Hialeah. And, you know, we've gone to people's houses and all that. And it is, I mean, it's just not your tía o tu mamá o tu abuela que bardean el piso y meten cubo. That is a Cuban thing. Yeah. I don't know if like Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and other Caribbean folk do it. Maybe they do.
No, I think they do because remember when we talked to Amara? She said que her and her mother every Saturday.
Yeah. Right. So maybe it's a Caribbean thing.
Yeah.
But obviously we could speak from the angle of Cuban.
Right.
And Cuban Clean really is I mean, it really, really is. Yeah. I mean, what's the saying? Cleanliness is
next to godliness.
Yes. Yeah. And it really is. Porque if your house doesn't smell like a mixture of Mistolin or Fabuloso with a touch of Clorox,
is it clean?
Is it clean?
Is it?
Is it clean? So. And let me tell you something. Let's be really honest here. Let's be really honest. Because you know what?
Are we ever anything but?
But you know what, though? There's things that we do because of the culture,
right?
That you know, if you dissect it externally and you look at it from the outside looking in, you're like, okay, well, we do that because of the culture, not because it's really the better alternative. It's just the culture, right?
Okay, got it.
Right? But let me tell you, and let's be honest, un Swiffer no sirve para nada.
Eso y miedo lo mismo.
Right?
Sorry, we're not getting the sponsorship.
Because I've bought, I remember from my office, I bought like the Swiffer, the one con the spray.
Yes.
Yeah? Because I'm like, I'm not going to bring un cubo y una bayeta, you know, to clean the office, right?
Mueve la computadora.
Like, ese Swiffer, all that does is move the dust. It moves it to the corner.
I will say, I like the Swiffer duster.
The Swiffer duster is okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But what we're talking about, like the nitty-gritty.
Palo trapear,
right?
Yeah.
The nitty-gritty. Eso no hace nada.
Eso mueve el churro.
Exactly, mueve el churro. Yeah. If you want clean, tú tienes que ver un palo, una bayeta and a bucket of water and Metolin or Fabuloso.
Yeah.
That is how you clean a house.
That's how you clean a house.
That is how you clean a house. Es verdad? Es verdad?
And if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, you have a designated broom just to dunk in that shit and scrub up and down the walls of the bathtub.
Tiene que ser palo y valle. Like,
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Like babardear. It has to be.
The mop, the mop with the little tendrils. That
Eso
doesn't.
no sirve para nada. Eso no sirve para nada.
¿Eso no hace nada?
The one with like the
No,
long little
where you're
things.
dunking it back in dirty water.
Dirty
What
water.
is that?
Yeah.
No.
No. It really. Cuban clean really is a thing. And y eso bueno, I told you, don't you remember like earlier in January, I was doing some field work with a canvas group and we were in an apartment building and the floor above us, the lady like threw out the pail water and it missed me literally by like an inch. And I was like, when in Hialeah,
Yes.
you expect to be thrown
You have to look up.
dirty pail water, and then it's bad because it smells good because it smells like,
But it doesn't.
Yeah, But yeah, I mean, una casa cubana, tú no puedes comparar la limpieza de una casa cubana. Like, let's be honest. I know we think we're the shit, but una casa cubana. No. And then there's the other thing
You
we
sounded
don't
like
do.
your parents.
But it's true. There's another thing we don't do. Limpiar los platos en the dishwasher.
Dishwasher eso no limpia. I'm sorry, whoever loves their dishwasher.
No.
I use my dishwasher as a drying rack.
No. I use the dishwasher like whenever.
Or if I'm really tired and there's too much.
Whenever I've had like
like Christmas dinner.
a Christmas dinner or something, I do le paso una mano in the
Fregadero.
in the fregadero, le paso una mano, and then I do put it in the dishwasher because it's like, okay, I'm not gonna clean now,
25 plates.
25 plates with 25 glass cups with 25 sets of cubierto, okay, I'm gonna take the hit on this one.
Also, that's bullshit. Like before I put it in the dishwasher, I have to clean it first too.
Right? No. And you know what's like totally American?
What have I saved?
Totally American. Que hacen los americanos. This is not Cuban at all. When you have a double sink that you put in hot water, you get one side of the sink and you fill it with hot water and then you put the dishwash liquid in there and you put the stuff to
Like
soak.
you soak?
Right. That's why in all these dishwashing commercials, you see like the little image, little graphic of like whatever, the pots, the pans, the grime in the water, like dissolving away. It's like, who does that? That's Americano
I've never
shit.
done that.
Right, because that's American stuff.
Right, because you know what we do with a double sink? If you don't have a dishwasher, that's where you put the drying rack.
Exactly.
Right.
And the other side of the sink.
Yeah.
No, tú coge un estropajo o un Brillo pad, or depending on what you're cleaning, una esponja, and you get a palmolive.
You go to town.
And you scrub that shit.
Yes, sir.
A mano.
A mano. Like your ancestors are watching.
Yes, a mano. The dishwasher. And yeah, it's a drying rack.
It's a drying rack. It's the most expensive drying rack. Mira, I use a dishwasher maybe 4 times a year, like once every quarter, every 3 months. Porque para que no coja peste, para que no, but I don't use it.
No.
I just don't.
No. But that's like a very American thing. Put things in the dishwasher.
We'll run the load later.
Yes. Wait, are you putting it in the dishwasher to actually wash it?
This is foreign to me. I don't know what's happening.
You're really washing your dishes in the dishwasher?
Am I on a sitcom?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? That to me, that's sitcom shit. That's like that's like bunk beds in a garage apartment.
And that's like, to me, I don't know how you feel about this. To me, I know we have like the vacuum mop, vacuum sweeper. You have a vacuum to sweep the floor. But
yeah.
But to me, una escoba is still better.
Oh my god, it's so better. You know what I do?
That escoba really gets into the corners.
Again, welcome to cleaning talk. But let me tell you.
To me,
I use the escoba, and then what I do is I use the vacuum to after I have the pile,
right?
To because
so this
I hate using the
full disclosure. I'm going to admit something on our show right now.
Okay.
And if you're a listener who knows me personally, and I go to your house and whatever, I just know that this is something that I do.
You're going to look at this,
right? To me, there's nothing worse than to go to a house y ver los rodapiés, the baseboards, y los rodapiés tan sucios. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. These people are not clean. Or to see a corner that has little nicks and crannies and little things in the corner.
That one little spider web.
In
little
the corner.
dust bunny.
And it's like, oh, no. Aquí no limpian como tienen que limpiar.
Aquí no limpian bien.
No, I am that person. There I totally become my mother. There my Nary, like it totally
takes over.
It totally takes over. I'm like, mira esos rodapiés. Eso no lo pintan hace 5 años. Eso necesita que lo pinten y que le pasen una frazada con cloro.
Oh my God, no, I'm feeling like I have to go home and check my rodapiés.
My mom, till this day. So my mom always cleans the bathroom on Thursdays. This is why you've never seen my mom clean on the bathroom because you usually
on Fridays.
You usually would go to my house either on a Friday or on a weekend.
Yeah.
So you would see her with the blow drying her hair.
Yes.
But never because she would always clean it on Thursday. To this day, now my mom's retired. I'll call my parents on Thursday. Guess mi mamá, no, tu mamá todavía limpiando el baño. Mind you, my parents have one bathroom.
And there's only 2 of them.
Yes.
Right.
Limpiando el baño. Because you know how my mom limpia el baño? She
With
gets
a
a little
toothbrush?
cup. And she just like throws it against the wall. Like, boop, get another. And I'm
Like tile by tile?
Yeah, sort of.
That's wonderful.
Pero ese baño queda. That you could hear it going, cling.
Again, over 30 years, and that bathroom has never smelled bad.
No.
That bathroom, you could eat off of the floor in that bathroom.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, and when you go to people's bathrooms and there's crusty things on the sink, porque no le han pasado una toalla, un paper towel por lo menos. Now let's you know what I will concede to that has made our life a lot easier, like as people that like cleanliness, are Lysol wipes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
Lysol
wipes get the job done.
And it has the smell.
It has the smell.
It has
and
the
they
smell.
get the
So
job done.
It also psychologically.
So that is a form of Anglo cleaning technology that I'm on board with.
That we sign off on.
Right.
I think it maybe has to do with the smell.
I like that. Anglo cleaning
Technology. Yes. ACT.
Yeah, that is something that we can get. I love when I go to wherever and I see like the Murphy's like pine oil like whatever, and I'm like, who has real wooden floors in Miami? Like,
Nadie.
Todo el mundo tiene laminate.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Nobody has real wooden floors in Miami. Why do we sell this Murphy's oil thing?
You know, for that one person.
That does. You know, that probably lives in like the old part of Miami. That
Right.
does have
Like an old brickle or something.
Cuban clean.
No, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It
so
really is
Eva
a thing.
Mendes. So again, back to Eva Mendes.
Yes.
We are proud that
That-
as a Cuban lady and a representative
Absolutely.
of our people, you came up con la esponja.
Yes. And you are supporting the notion of Cuban cleanliness.
Take that, haters.
Yeah. I think it was great. It was great. Again, you get the internet. You run the gamut of responses. Mm-hmm. So I saw something today that I actually wanted to bring up to you. A recent study was done, and I thought of you immediately because you are a heavy consumer of news. The recent study shows heavy news consumption triggers stress, anxiety, and poor health. So this is so damn, I'm looking for the thing. So this study, which was conducted by somebody, a gentleman named McLaughlin at what university was it? He's associate professor of advertising at Texas Tech University in the U.S. And so what he found is that being exposed to a 24-hour news cycle of continually evolving events can have serious impacts on mental, physical well-being. And, they're talking about like just how it hits you and it kills you, basically.
Yes.
So
all those things are true.
So then why?
So
then why do we do it?
So I have to tell you that.
And again, I wanted to bring it to you because of the two of us, you do.
So I
just
because I am so involved in politics. And
but even before you were involved in politics, you were a news consumer,
right? Because I've been involved in politics.
Yeah. But now we're talking. No, but when you say you're involved in politics, obviously, what I mean is before you were working in politics,
right?
Sorry,
but
sorry.
I still was interested in politics.
Correct. No, I'm clarifying what I meant.
Right. This year, when I mean this year, I mean 2020. After the general election in 2020, and after like the whole, that it took several days to declare Biden the winner, I did scale it back.
You did.
I did because I caught myself. I was watching. So I've always been that type of person that like. When you know this, I tell you this all the time when I'm at your house. I'm like, can you turn on the TV and just have something on?
You need background noise.
I need a background something.
Yeah.
Right? I've always, since I was a teenager, I've always done that. And, it'll be a movie. It'll be like a show.
Yeah, you're not necessarily watching it.
Right. But I need something in the background. To me, silence is creepy as hell. Like, I can't deal with silence. But it got to the point where so I would consume my news as I always do in the morning,
Right.
and I would always check all the different websites.
Right.
I would do it then midday. I would do it then when I got home from work, and I would do it then at night. And then also I was having it in the background.
Right. So occasionally you would
And
hear
it was
something that would like
it was
pull
just
you in.
too much. It was just too much, and I actually completely broke away from it. Because it was just I caught myself. It was just way too much. And you start getting upset and angry, especially now that we live in such polarizing times, politically. But the political polarization trickles down to other things,
Right, cultural,
and that you do need a break. So I agree 100% with that. Right now, what I try to do, I've even sort of stopped watching the Today Show. I haven't.
Yes, look at the Today Show. It was really benign in the grand scheme.
You know why? Because I have a lot of things going on in my life. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I even complain about it, and sometimes I feel incredibly blessed. I have a lot of things going on. I have a lot of people in the chaos that is my life, and I find that the only moment I get a day is from the moment I get home after dropping Tristan off at school to the time, I don't go in early to the office or to work. I usually go in like 10:30. I'm able to do that. Those 2 hours are hour and a half, 2 hours at most. It's the only time that I have for myself. So I'm not going to spend it now watching the news.
Right.
So I'll watch maybe an old TV show, whatever.
You're saying elsewhere binge.
Yes, which I still haven't finished. Whatever it is. But I find that I was spending that time also watching the news. So, I check, obviously, my biggest news source is NBC News. I'll check the NBC News. I'll scroll through it to see kind of what's going on. I sort of like to watch Lester Holt at 6:30, which, the NBC nightly news is a very general kind of like...
It's literally, here's what happened today. That's it. Done.
That's it. Move on. Half an hour.
Headline.
And done.
Yeah.
And done. Because it really is bad. It really is bad. And then, how I feel about editorial news. I think editorial news do serve a purpose, and I'm not totally against editorial news, but we've moved into a space where there's a lot of editorial news.
Editorial has become the news.
Editorial shows on news stations.
Right. The news has become editorialized.
Yes.
Especially when you get to the cable networks, which really everything after maybe 7 o'clock, it's just talking head shows.
Right. And I think that could be it's like anything else. If not consumed in moderation, where is that leading you? To just be so obsessed with just overly obsessed. That's all you're consuming a day. Right. For hours and hours and hours and hours a day. Because once the main things that are going on,
you're good.
Do you really need to hear it 4 more times from 4 different anchors and 4 different networks?
Right. And everybody giving their opinion.
Right. Especially if it's not a huge story, you'll know what story that is.
Well, I would say to bring it to local, when the Surfside building collapsed,
right.
we were following it because there was a chance of survivors and people the rescue.
And that was an evolving news story.
Correct.
Right. That was a developing news story.
Right.
But yeah, no, I do think, and then also, wait, let's not forget the phone and online factor insofar
that's what
as
I mean.
social media.
Yeah, we're always connected.
Twitter, what is it that people get more news from Facebook
than they should?
Oh my God. You know what? let me give you a perfect example.
Okay.
So this is newsworthy. Like, this is celebrity stuff.
Okay. So it's fluff.
Right. My father is that person. My father's always watching the news. And my father loves programming from Spain. He watches Antena 3, TV3 and all that. And my father, well, you've seen him, you've heard him. My father's Mr. Celebrity News, although he will say that he's not. Oh, no. I don't care about celebrity news. I don't care about celebrity news. I don't care about that. It's just that they put it on the news channel.
Right.
In Spain.
Since I'm always watching the news, when it comes on, I'm seeing it.
Right. But he knows details. And today, actually, you saw when they were here, he was like, tú sabes que estaba viendo el canal de España el otro día y estaban hablando de Beyoncé. Y me dijeron, and I'm like, okay. And
your dad's part of the Bayhive?
Yeah. Y dijeron que Beyoncé ha estado con un solo hombre en su vida y es su esposo. Porque ellos se hicieron novio cuando estaban en la escuela.
That's not true.
Wait.
Oye, mi gente, Ish here with a great new zero-waste refill delivery service que lo tiene todo. Pantry items, personal care items, cleaning products, even some of your local faves, usually only found at the farmer's market. So what's this delivery service changing how you do groceries while helping save the planet? It's called The Rounds, and they're making deliveries in Miami, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and DC. They're like a modern-day milkman. Bueno, if the milkman doubled as an undercover eco-warrior. Most items, from almonds to pasta to dish soap, come in reusable containers. Once you're done, you just leave your empties in your tote bag outside your door, and the Rounds picks up your empties, washes, and reuses them, helping reduce those single-use plastics that are choking our landfills. And what's better than stocking your home while helping the environment and local businesses with the Rounds? How about getting 15% off your first order? That's right. Visit therounds.co, click join now, and use promo code PERO for 15% off todo in your order, even if you order every item. Así que what are you waiting for? Head over to therounds.co to save 15% using promo code PERO on your first order. Sustainable, zero waste, delivered to your door, and 15% off. What more could you ask for? Start making the Rounds today.
I let that ship sail. I go, really? Wait. I go, really?
Who wrote this history, Mel B?
Really. Que Jay-Z, el esposo de ella, y ella, que ese es el único hombre con quien ella ha estado, porque ellos estaban juntos en la escuela, así que ellos se hicieron novio cuando estaban en la escuela. So, let me recap this. I'm like, so tú oíste en el noticiero de España que ellos dijeron que Beyoncé dijo, supposedly Beyoncé said in an interview, que the only man she had ever been with was Jay-Z, and they got together when she was 17 because they went to school together. And he's like, see, and I'm like, okay, well, let me start deconstructing that. I'm like, first of all, Beyonce didn't say that because Beyonce hasn't given an interview in like 10 years at this point.
Right.
De verdad, I'm like, yes, Beyonce doesn't give interviews. She doesn't do red carpets. And good for her. Good for her. And then I started explaining, in fact, Beyonce releases albums with little or no promotion because she does not sit down for interviews. Right. So she didn't say that. Right. Secondly,
let's start with that one.
We have known Beyonce since she was in Destiny's Child.
So like 15,
she was
16.
like 15.
Yeah.
Right? And she didn't meet Jay-Z until she was a solo artist. And Beyonce is 40 and Jay-Z's like 53. So I just can't imagine what school they went to that they were together in school. Like,
also, even if they were the same age, Beyonce grew up in Texas. Jay-Z
from
famously is from New York.
I didn't give the Texas New York thing.
I don't know what kind of exchange program they were part of.
Well, you know, BK is from Texas.
Es verdad.
So I was like, mira esta mierda que este hombre acaba de oír.
And that is celebrity fluff.
Right. And then he probably goes and tells somebody else, and now everybody is like, oh, Beyonce and Jay-Z got together. They were high school sweethearts. Although they're like 13 years apart, right? 17, 29.
Maybe Maybe she was advanced. Maybe he was dumb. We don't know. I mean, I don't know how
you
school
could
works.
only skip so many
That's
grades
true.
or be held back so many
That's true.
grades,
That's true.
right? And I'm like, dude, you need to like cut the shit out. Like, and then he gets mad when I call him out on it. I'm like, tú tienes que parar de mirar esas cosas de farándula. Like, they're so inaccurate.
But here's the thing. Okay, I know that celebrity news and gossip is not the most accurate, but I also wonder if it's a situation where he's not hearing the actual story, but tidbits, and then putting his because my nephew does this. My nephew will be paying attention without paying attention, and then he'll come back and he'll tell you this entire story that has snippets of what was said, but is a completely new tale.
No, because when I tell my father, no, that's not how it is, he's like, but yes, it was. I heard it on the show.
No, just because he says that doesn't mean it was
right.
true.
But the thing is that it happens over and over and over and over and over and over again. So it wasn't like, oh, maybe he heard something and he wasn't fully paying attention.
Right. Okay.
No, this is like every day, and yeah, and he tells me this stuff. He hasn't done it in a while. When he would watch this show, right, this famous whatever show that he watches on Antena 3, that from Spain, that they talk a lot about Maria Carey, which they do. They love Mariah Carey in Spain.
That's right.
And he would throw, no, porque dijeron esto de Mariah. I'm like, stop. I'm like, no te tires donde tú no das pie.
That's the one topic that you definitely
No.
can
You know what he
school.
told me the other day? Actually, when we were in Punta Cana, so this was less than 2 weeks ago. They're like, tú sabes que estaba viendo en la televisión, tú sabes que Mariah tiene un novio que es un jovencito que es bailarín, and se juntaron. I'm like, no, sí, ellos se juntaron hace como 6 años. Like,
He's probably 35 by now.
Brian Kanaka and her have been together since like 2016. So yeah, or 2017. I'm like, yeah, they did get together back then. So I was like, were you watching an old DVR? I'm like,
the anchors were sick that day. They just ran a repeat.
oh my God, you know what's so hilarious? This is completely off topic. So in my DVR, I have a lot. You know what I still have in my DVR?
Nothing surprises me with you.
The 2012 London Olympics.
Well, I mean,
remember that we were in
closing?
Wisconsin? I have the opening and the closing. Was that even a question?
That was like the stupidest question I think I've ever asked in my life.
Mind you, I have it recorded on VHS because I left my VCR
That's right,
in
'cause we were in
2012
Wisconsin.
recording, and I bought both the DVD and the Blu-ray.
So you really like this Olympics? Is what I'm
The
hearing.
2020 London
I know.
Olympics opening ceremonies is one of my favorites. But anyway,
Ese
so
es el nido.
what?
No, el del nido is China.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have multi-formatted, but that's like the oldest thing I have in my DVD. I also have recorded and still in the DVR. I have like the last 2 episodes of Sado Gigante.
Aww.
And I can't tell you, it's been like once or twice, that my parents have come to my house on a Saturday and I'll put it on.
To see if they notice.
Yeah, it's like, it's
been 10 years.
HD,
yeah.
but it's the HD quality. And my parents would be like, hey, eso que están poniendo a Sábado Gigante. I'm like, no. Es un episodio especial de Sábado Gigante. One time I got them. And then my mom said something like, ay, pero Don Francisco no se había dejado de teñir el pelo. And then after like a few minutes, it'll be like, the 2015 Toyota Camry.
Right, yeah. Like, okay.
Like,
All right. Cayeron.
yeah, ellos caen. That's so funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
They're actually doing a documentary in Don Francisco.
Oh, they're going to talk about my parents. And I was like,
No,
what?
well, they should. But no, they're doing a documentary on Don Francisco. Actually, it's the guys who did the Walter Mercado documentary. And I want, putting it out there, I want you guys to come back on when it comes out. Because if there's one thing we want to talk about, it's Don Francisco.
I miss Don Francisco. I miss Sábado Gigante.
Yeah.
I've said it here. I used to watch Sábado Gigante until the end, and this is true. This is no lie, and it's no shit. First of all, my family still watched Sábado Gigante until the very end, and I would always, in my 20s, and until I lived at home, and I was in my 20s, I would always start watching it, because it would start at 7, those first few couple of hours.
Oh yeah, like the pre-show
with like my grandmother, and then obviously I would go out, but then. Always a habit that I had. Sábado Gigante, they would start repeating it either at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, you're right.
So when I would get home on Saturday night from going out wherever, I would always turn on Sábado Gigante for a little while at least to kind of, wind me down and,
So Sábado Gigante is like Tilo?
Sort of. Well, it is el mejor pretexto para quedarse en casa.
I mean,
What was
it's
your favorite contest on Sábado Gigante?
I feel like I don't know enough of them like you do.
What?
No, because the thing is, remember, we didn't really watch Sábado Gigante in my parents' house. We really didn't. We would watch, we watched like sitcoms.
Do you know how many times I went to Sábado Gigante?
I never went.
You never went to...
I never
How
went.
did you know me and not go to... Who did I go to Sábado Gigante
Not
with?
me. Tú no me invitaste.
I went a lot. I went through middle school and high school.
Well, apparently not with me.
Yeah, actually, and I went in college too.
Okay, well, not with me.
I
Still.
remember one of the last times I went, my name was Ajax. I didn't put Daddy in, I put Ajax. Aha.
Sure, why the hell
Why
not?
not?
Why the hell not? No, yeah, so like I would watch Sábado Gigante like when I was little,
So you didn't
younger.
watch Talian Sábado Gigante?
I'm sure I did, but again, I would watch it like if I was at my grandparents' house on that Saturday, or if I was with my grandparents and then we went to la casa de la hermana de mi abuela, Tia Ida and Tío Nieve. Like then, it was on. So yes, we would consume it in that way, but like it wasn't a thing that we would watch like in my home.
Oh, in my family, like in many families, especially those first several years of Sábado Gigante, like everybody used to watch it. Mm-hmm. Because the thing with Sábado Gigante is that Sábado Gigante in the first few years, it was much more of even though it was filmed in Miami throughout its entire run, it had a lot more of a Miami vibe.
Yeah, it was more localized.
Mm-hmm. Even though they aired it all over the country, it felt more Miami. Yeah. As the show got bigger and bigger and bigger,
it had to broaden its base.
Yes, so it became a lot more, there was a lot more variety
right.
Of other different flavors on the show, which is fine. But at first it was very Miami, especially with like those the first models like Jackie Nespra, Lily, Mati,
yeah.
And those first set of like it was very very Miami. No, we watched it.
So I can't say I know the games as well as you would.
I mean, for many years, like the game that they would have to win the car was el de la llave.
Was there a game that they had to like punch into like there were like several holes and they had to punch into something and maybe it had the key inside?
No, you're thinking about The Price is Right.
Okay, never mind. That's what I thought, but I'm like, let me put it out there.
No, the most popular game they had to win the car was one of the keys. That there would be a vault, and there was a set of keys next to it.
Yes, okay, I remember this.
Right,
okay.
And then you would pick a key. And then when you were going to put in the key, Don Francisco would tell you, $1,000. Like, he would offer you money.
Yes. It was like, let's make a deal.
Right, and then, the music, and then
the tension.
He'd be like $5,000, and then at home you'd be like, no, he's offering you money because it's the car,
right,
and then everybody had like a different conspiracy theory, like, oh no, he's giving him the signal in the back with his fingers, like te está diciendo con los dos dedos, cógela, like bullshit like that. But I remember we would be so into it, we'd be like on the edge of the seat, like, coge el dinero, don't forget it's just a Mercury Tracer, it's like.
I would probably be one of the worst on a game show in that scenario.
Why? Because you'd be looking at the audience.
No, primero, they're like $5,000. I'm like, here's the key.
Yeah.
I'm like, here's the key. Thank you very much.
I have to tell you.
I'm good. I have a car.
I have to tell you, and this is like one of the fuzziest like memories in terms of my grandmother. My grandmother, until her, I don't want to say her last day, but until the very end, my grandmother watched The Price is Right. And I love The Price is Right.
Yeah,
so that was something that you could come to my house between 11 and 12, and my grandmother would be sitting there watching The Price is Right. And I thought it was so funny that my grandmother even liked Drew Carey, which was
she made the transition.
Oh, no,
she made,
I'm telling you, she watched The Price is Right until like the week she passed. Like she watched that rain or shine, even if she wasn't feeling well. And we all love The Price is Right. Yeah. I need to play Plinko.
Listen, we know somebody who cleaned up.
I need who?
TJ, Sabrina's brother.
Oh yes. Oh my God, yes.
He won the showcase. He won the car. He won a trip. I mean,
did he go to Aspen? Because The Price is Right was always like, I remember as a kid watching it.
There was a lot of Aspen.
Watching it. A trip to Aspen. And I remember thinking, ¿dónde está Aspen? Like,
and you know what? El otro day I was watching the one with Michael Strahan, Pyramid.
Yeah.
The trip was to Lake Placid.
Yeah.
I'm like, who the hell wants to go to Lake Placid?
the site of the 1980 Winter Olympics.
Okay, but when you're getting on other, on other game shows, they're like, a trip to Greece, like you go to Lake Placid. I'm like, oh.
I get so into Pyramid.
Yeah.
I get so into Pyramid. But anyway, back to the prices.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
I need to be on Plinko. I need to play Plinko. There's something about Plinko that just, and you know what? The whole thing with loving Plinko is that was always my favorite game, and it was one of those like, oh, this is my favorite game, without realizing that it's like everybody's favorite game, right?
Okay. When we go to LA next year,
let's go to. We gotta have T-shirts.
We will. I will see how to figure out how to get on Prices Right. I mean, at least in the audience. Because you never know if they're going to pick you.
Like, DJ, come on down. I'll be like, oh my God. But then I'll be like, I have to know California prices.
Oh, it's not national average?
No, it's California prices. Por eso todo es más caro.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Yes, that's why a box of Sun-Made raisins costs like $5. I was like, I buy BOGO at Publix and a Fresco and Sedanos. We don't pay $5 for a box of raisins. Una caja de ¿cómo se llama? How do you say raisins in Spanish?
Pasa.
Una de pasa. $5.
It makes sense because, it was like, why is everything so expensive on here?
Yes.
It's like a bottle of Clorox, $32.
Yes.
Like
It's
California prices.
California prices. Dun, 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 dun.
Aww.
I have to tell you that if I were to go and I would get on the price, DJ, come on down, I would lose my shit. Like, if you're there with me, you're going to have to calm me down. I'm like,
I'm going to have to calm you down?
I was like, this is a dream come true, people. Come on,
I'm going to calm you down? I'm going to hype you up. I'm going to hype you up, and I'm going to make sure that you have a Lechon Life shirt on so that national exposure.
Hi, this is Lechon, not Lechon. There's so much I would have to say. Like, my name is DJ from Miami, but let me tell you podcast. Hi, everybody. Okay, hi.
You know what you can do to prep? You can watch Talia's interview on Wendy Williams where she rattled everything that was happening in her life in 2 minutes.
But knowing me, I'd probably get the
You'd get the giggles.
The game with, like, if I get I get the right price and I go up to the contest, I'll get the game with, like, the mountain climber.
Oh, but that's fun. That's what people, at least it's one people remember.
Yeah, I'll probably get down and be like, oh.
Pero no te caigas when you do the spin the wheel.
Oh, yes.
Qué pena. If you fall.
I'll start, like, if I'm close to, like, the dollar, I'll be like,
because
I'll, like, start blowing.
I can see you getting emocionado and, like, grabbing it at the top and wanting to spin it with all of your might, but then falling. Going with it.
I could see it, like, me unhinging the wheel. And just a wheel rolling off.
Oh, no, don't kill Drew Carey, please.
Because, I'm not very graceful when it comes down to those things.
You are not.
Like, when I play Whack-A-Mole, like, I'm sure they have to go back and, like, fix it.
No, there are reverberations at other stations.
Well, so you know that this year when we were at the fair and I was playing Whack-A-Mole, the lady remembered me from the previous fair. Now, granted, this was a March fair,
and the last one was in December,
November, right? But still, with the thousands and thousands of people,
that she's seen,
that she remembered me, and she remembered that I had won.
Because you were there to win.
Because I was like, I don't care that I'm surrounded by 5-year-olds. You're all going down, and I'm winning.
If you're here to play, bring it.
I'm winning, and my first round pick is going to be the penguin, and then I'm going to get the bigger prize.
And you're all going to go home and cry.
I don't care, kids. Whatever.
Life lesson. Life lesson and disappointment.
I remember one year they told me, I'm like, did you want to let, like, the little girl win? I'm like, no. I paid my $2 to be here.
Just like her. She had her chance. Poor planning on her part is not my problem.
Anyway, the price is right. So moving right along. Where do we go from there?
Rolling right along down the Price is Right wheel.
I could just imagine my face. I'll be like, did they call my name?
You know what? No, you can't have them say DJ. Because it has to be Darian. Because otherwise we won't you know, it could be confused
Yeah.
with like a TJ or a
Yeah.
CJ, right? And you'd be like, what? Who? No. Darian, so that there's no
Right.
mistaking who is called.
Okay.
No mistaking at all. Oh, Dios mío. I'm trying to think. I mean, I know. So, you know, what else happened this week? There's a lot of stuff that happened this week. Well, I know that. Actually, you know, I'm going to bring something up that I just saw. And realistically speaking, I don't have too much context on it, but when has that ever stopped me? So I recently saw a headline, okay, posted by the Miami Herald, that California Governor Gavin Newsom has just pledged $100,000 to Charlie Crist, the Democratic nominee here for governor, to unseat Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. So essentially, he's donated, you know, money
Right.
to Crist's campaign for publicity and
I
what
didn't
have
know
you.
that.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
I think it just happened like 2 hours ago, or was just posted 2 hours ago. And you know, Newsom has called out other people at his level to be like, you know, you guys, who's with me, you know, to donate against, you know, DeSantis and what have you. And so when I saw that, I was like, you know, there probably is. I'm sure he's not the first person to do that, of the first governor, the first person in power to do that. But I have to say, I don't know how I feel about one state's governor donating money to another governor campaign. I mean, I'm assuming it's legal, because if it's a headline, right, it must be legal. They're not trying to hide it. But it just seems like it just seems this thing of like, you know, I'm against you and you're against me, and when we're
Big contest.
it is. It's a pissing contest. You know, it's a pissing contest is what it comes down to, and it irks me, and I can't put my finger on why.
So, I mean, the reason this is all happening is because of 2024.
Right.
So, I mean, it's no secret. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said 100 times before, that Ron DeSantis probably...
He has presidential ambition.
He has presidential ambition, and he is closely watching what's going on with Trump to be the nominee. I think that if Trump doesn't run, Ron DeSantis is going to be unstoppable.
It's a clear path.
If Trump does win, if Trump does decide to run,
Right.
it's going to be a bloodbath between the two of them to get the nomination.
Right.
Right? Similarly, with the Democrats, Joe Biden shouldn't run again.
Right.
Will he run? I don't know, but he shouldn't run.
Right.
And I'm not an ageist whatsoever, but it's time.
It's time for fresh blood.
If you're on the Democrat, liberal, progressive side, what have you, we need new blood, we just need something new,
Something fresh.
And Gavin Newsom is on that short list.
Oh, okay.
So
they're almost like it is almost like the pre-match, the pre-game.
yes. So it's
to
and then
2024.
obviously, if from the Gavin Newsom perspective, if Ron DeSantis loses a re-election, that's not going to look good on him.
that slows his momentum.
Right. It
it's
slows his
supposedly.
momentum. Right. He could now be like, well, you know, people of Florida rejected you. Right. The people
Why,
of Florida,
why should the country take you?
rejected you. You know, you said that everything was this and this and this,
Right.
and yet they rejected you. So, I mean, obviously, this is all political. This is all strategic.
Right.
This is all strategic. All of it. So we'll see. In terms of Charlie Crist and Ron DeSantis, I mean, the data shows that. I mean, it's very likely that Ron DeSantis will be reelected. But no, his political ambitions are all for 2024.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Long term.
I mean, if you follow politics and you follow this, he is playing by the playbook. DeSantis.
I will say I've seen his recent TV spots, and it's interesting because he's gone the route of, you know, freedom and liberty and all that, which is great. Fine, whatever, knock yourself out. But I do find it fascinating that there's not one mention of Trump in any of the spots.
Right.
He is
Because
steering clear.
So he has
of the hot potato
He
right
has
now.
a very hard task with him.
Right.
Because he doesn't. He wants to.
He can't alienate.
He wants to distance himself from Trump.
Right.
and not beat Trump. Because whether you like him or not, he's a smart guy.
DeSantis.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's a smart guy.
yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy. He's ambitious. He's young. I didn't realize that he's our age.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is he so puffy?
Yeah, he's our age. He went, I believe Ron DeSantis went to Yale.
Okay, so
Was it Yale? But he went to an elite law school. He was in the military.
he was.
Yeah. So he has the
on paper he has credentials.
Yes, he has the credentials, the pedigree, and all that.
Pedigree, that's what.
So he knows what he's doing, right? So he has to walk a very fine line because he's running. He's setting up in terms of this, like, and notice he doesn't say things like "Make America Great Again" or "America First." He's running on more like family values,
personal liberties,
personal liberties, family values, the free state of Florida, against woke culture, whatever that means.
Right.
So he knows what he's doing.
Right.
But yeah, he can't alienate the Trump voter either.
Right.
And so yeah, if I was working on his campaign, I'd have a huge headache because it's like, how do you cater?
How do you serve all these masters?
Your base, which is conservative, Republican and conservative, but at the same time, not lie in bed with the most influential person
currently
in your side of the aisle.
Right.
Who's the elephant in the room. Right.
Notice
how I am talking about this in a very unpassionate way, and I'm trying not to be.
But I think you've just stated facts, which is anybody who can look at his campaign.
I'm trying not to be biased.
But I mean, if you take a look at his campaign, again, it is strategy.
Right.
Look, I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. If you're running for any campaign, if you're running for any position, your goal is to win. Nobody runs to lose. Unless
I would just say
unless you're the straw candidate that was put in.
Joe Biden were to run again for president for re-election, it would be into his best interest and his benefit to be against Trump.
Okay.
Right? Because
even playing field.
Well, you can throw whatever you want to Joe Biden about his age, about whatever you want, but then the other guy, the baggage of the other guy is bigger than the baggage at LAX, right? At the airport. So, that's probably it. Again, a Joe Biden renomination would be much easier in re-election against Trump.
Right.
But I mean, from here to 2024, it's an eternity in the world of politics. Ron DeSantis has a lot of momentum right now. And he
has a lot of spotlight.
He's playing it very, very carefully, which that's what politicians do.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a tough one. If he gets the Republican nomination for the presidency for the general election, he is going to be a hard one to beat because he's going to have everything for him. And he's going to be young, so he's like the bright star.
Right.
All that. So. Then you know what? We say, oh, we're not ageist, we're not this, we're not that. We are and we aren't, because when you have a politician that is young and charismatic, good luck.
Well, I mean, look at Kennedy and Nixon.
Look at Bill Clinton and look at Obama.
Right.
Because Bill Clinton, let's talk about Bill Clinton. We're old enough to remember when Bill Clinton ran for president in 1992. It's so funny. I've told you this. I'm glad that people think that I'm younger than what I am. To me, that is
it's a compliment, of course.
Compliment. And some time ago, I was talking to somebody that I worked with in politics, and I was saying something along the lines of like, well, I was so excited to vote for Clinton that first time I voted. She was like, oh my God, you voted for Hillary Clinton in 2008? And I was like, no. It was actually Bill Clinton in 1996. I just turned 18.
I'm a little older than you think.
Yeah, I was like, no. Because she even thought like Hillary 2008.
Yeah, she knew you weren't
when she
that
was going
young.
against Obama for the primary,
Right.
I don't know if you remember, they had a huge battle, Hillary Clinton and Obama, and I was like, no, it was her husband. But 96, not 92. So so Bill Clinton in 92, for those of us who are old enough to remember, he was on Arsenio Hall playing the saxophone. Yeah. He was
talking about marijuana.
He went on MTV. He went on all these things, despite the fact that he had, extramarital allegations against him. Remember when that was like the worst thing against a politician? That they had an affair.
I long for the days.
Remember, that was like the scandal.
That's what you hope for now.
That was like the scandal.
If you get a politician and the only thing they have is one affair, you're like, you're fine.
You're fine. You're good. Moral characters, mint.
You've recovered, right? Great.
Right. And he had a momentum of him because why? He was in his 40s. He was a young guy. He had like a young daughter.
Right.
They were like a young modern family. He had like charisma.
Right.
The same thing with Obama. I remember Obama did, which is the first time that people heard of him on the national stage, in 2004 at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. He was a keynote speaker. Mm-hmm. Right. Nobody knew who Barack Obama was in 2004. Right. And after he gave the keynote address, everybody was talking about him. Everybody. Nobody was talking about John Kerry, who was the nominee. Right. Everybody was talking about this junior senator, Barack Obama. Like, who's Barack Obama? Barack Obama.
Right. And there we go.
4 years later, when he ran,
momentum.
I mean, yes, there was a lot of things politically, machinations going on.
As always.
Where the economy
all strategy.
was at that time. But there was this momentum because he was a young, vibrant, fresh guy, And you could say whatever you may think of Ron DeSantis' policies, we've made it clear here how we feel about those policies, but that's not the point of this conversation. He is young and,
No, and he has a momentum that somebody who's in his 80s doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just not.
Yeah. But God bless you if you're in your 80s and you do.
I know. See, I can't wait to turn 65 so I can retire. You think I want to be 80 arguing?
You're going to retire at 65?
Huh?
You're going to retire at 65? You don't seem to me like a 65 retiree.
Younger?
No, older. I could imagine you being like 63 and be like, I'm full of energy and spunk and spirit.
No. At 65, I'll retire, but I'll do contract work to my leisure.
Okay, let's get to that age first.
Yes, I'm saying I will keep working for my own pleasure.
We'll be on like the 30th season of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Actually, by then, I may not retire because this will be the full-time gig.
Right. Hi, welcome to our intro. Be like, and this is season 30 of Pero Let Me Tell You. Dale. By then we'll have another theme song.
Yeah, we'll have refreshed things a bit.
Yeah,
of course.
We would have run out of Ventanitas to take our promo pictures at.
Miami will never run out of Ventanitas.
No, that's true.
And if they do, we'll start building our own.
Yes. So, bueno, all this chitter chatter has made me thirsty.
Absolutely. So, do you want to give your last soda first?
I am. I'm going to be short and sweet with my last soda. So, I'm going to give my soda to Snoop Dogg.
Okay, what did Snoop Dogg do? I can't say I did.
Snoop Dogg is actually releasing a children's lullaby album and animated show on YouTube.
I cannot wait to hear his version of Hey Fiddle Diddle.
How about Mary Had a Little Lamb?
Well, the fleece was white as snow.
So, I actually think it's... What do you think of that?
I mean, I think it's one of those things where... again, people should evolve, right?
This is quite the evolution, being that he's known for gangsta rap and weed.
Fair enough. But I think it's like everything. Snoop Dogg of today is not the Snoop Dogg when he started, right? I mean, he's coaching his kids' little league football team. He's BFFs with Martha Stewart.
Yes.
So
who saw that coming?
No one did. But I feel like that's the natural evolution after she made friends with Busta.
Right, that is true. At the 1997 VMAs.
Right, you start with Busta, and eventually, the whole West Coast crew is on your side. She might be an honorary Crip
East
for all we know.
Coast, but she brought the East and West together,
as only Martha could, and she did it in a tasteful, color coordinated way.
And that's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
I just think, if you really want to talk about an evolution, about a guy who, was like total street, gangster rap,
Yeah.
and is doing a lullaby. I mean, I think I'm up for it.
But it doesn't surprise me because to me, the Snoop Dogg of today is such a different person.
You know that it's really interesting
He's in Corona
because
commercials.
Snoop Dogg has been able to kind of, how do I put this, laugh at his image without laughing at his image.
Like he knows what his image is.
He knows what his image is, and he's played upon that without making himself like
A joke. Right.
Because he's still very
He's
respected
and
in the
relevant.
hip hop world, right? Very much so. I mean, heck, he was in the Super Bowl this year, right? And yet, despite everything that he's done in terms of like, because especially somebody like a gangster rap, that's such a like hardcore, legit,
Yeah.
street,
Thug life, yeah.
Like image. He's very commercialized, and he's done so many commercials and ads and all that, which a lot of people see that as selling out, right? And he's he sort of made a parody of himself without diminishing the brand of Snoop Dogg.
I don't know if he's made a parody. I think he's just leaned into the expectation.
Yeah, but he laughs at it. Like you could tell, it's all in like it's a wink.
Okay, right. A wink. Okay, yeah. Because it's not Flavor Flav.
Exactly.
That's why I didn't want to use the word parody.
Right, because Flavor Flav, in terms of the hip hop,
right?
Public Enemy. Flavor Flav has a very a legacy in terms of the world of hip hop, right,
and respectfully,
right, and he's one of the pioneers within Public Enemy, but Flavor Flav, the man, is a joke, right, and but Snoop Dogg is not,
right. That's what I mean. That's why when you said the word parody, I was like, I don't know. I like Wink. I like Wink better. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
like Wink better.
So he gets a soda this week.
Oh, a soda.
So Snoop Dogg. I still want to say Snoop Doggy Dog, but Snoop Dogg. Here's a soda for you.
Yes. So my last soda. So I think I actually gave this a last soda to a couple weeks back. The animated series on Disney Channel, Hamster and Gretel. Since I gave that soda, the show has actually premiered, and so I just want to give my last soda to an episode of theirs that you can watch. Actually, you can watch on Disney Plus. I think it's the 3rd episode. The name of the episode is called "Recipe for Disaster," and the reason that I'm giving this episode my last soda is because in this cartoon of a young girl who gets superpowers with her pet hamster. And they are, what's happening over here?
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, is there like an Apple conference happening? With this half Venezuelan family, there's
is this the one we were watching the other day?
Yes, there's an entire episode about Ropa Vieja.
Oh, that's the one we were watching.
That's the one we were watching the other
day.
day.
They go to a Cuban restaurant to look for Ropa Vieja.
Yes,
that was amazing. And remember when you were watching it? It's on the.
It's on Disney Plus.
And I was like, this is on Disney. Like it didn't seem like that is something that would be on Disney, but there was.
Yeah, and there's even a song in the episode about Ropa Vieja, which I may post on Instagram just because it's cute. But what I loved about it is, A, it's a freaking episode revolving around Ropa Vieja. But B, the family's half Venezuelan, which they do have Ropa Vieja in Venezuela. I think they have a different name for it. But the name that they have isn't as funny as Ropa Vieja.
I think it is Ropa Vieja.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
But Ropa Vieja, obviously they do the joke of like, it's old clothes, ha ha ha, whatever, right? But what I loved is you can tell when Latinos are in the writer's room because the whole thing is that they ruin the Ropa Vieja, so the kids are trying to find a restaurant that has a Ropa Vieja. As you mentioned, the first restaurant that the girl and her hamster go to is a Cuban restaurant. Then they go to a Mexican restaurant, and the waiter, again, if you know, and if you don't, it's not a big deal. But the waiter, when she asks for Ropa Vieja, says, we don't serve that here. It's a Mexican restaurant. Right. Mexican restaurants don't have Ropa Vieja.
That's not Mexican cuisine.
It's not a Mexican cuisine. And she's like, that's okay. We'll just have some guac and chips instead, right? Okay, fine. But I love that little attention to detail that they didn't just have her go to every quote-unquote Latin restaurant.
Right. And if there would have been real Latin people in that room, she would have gone to a Mexican restaurant to have Ropa Vieja.
Right. So I just thought that was fantastic.
I did see that episode with you, and it caught my like I stopped what I was doing. I was like,
yeah, because you were busy. You were like in the kitchen.
yeah, I was like, did she just go to a Cuban restaurant to ask for Ropa Vieja? And I was thinking, is this like, I don't know, in like some off YouTube channel? You're like, no, it's Disney Plus. And I was like,
no,
what?
And it's from one of the creators of Phineas and Ferb.
It does feel very Phineas and Ferb.
Apparently, it exists in the same universe.
Oh, really? Oh, so
Yes.
Phineas. Oh, one of them has to come out then.
I hope Perry.
Well,
I hope Perry teams up with the hamster.
Oh,
Yes. I mean, come on. That has crossover written all over it.
Phineas and Ferb is such an amazing thing. It really, really is. I wish Tristan would have gotten more into Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
I love telling him, like, I would randomly tell him this year, I'll be like, so how many days are there in summer vacation? He's like, stop it. I'm like, whatever.
That's because you never had a balloony.
You know what's funny? I think that one of the reasons he didn't get into Phineas and Ferb was because of Candace. Because he'd be like, she's so annoying. Like, why is she always like after them? I'm like, that's the whole point.
Nah, you can tell he doesn't have a sibling.
I was like, that's the whole point. She's trying to get them in trouble.
He doesn't relate.
Yeah, that show really
It's so wonderful.
It is. I really enjoyed that episode. So I need to watch more, but I really
And Jenny Lorenzo actually in one of the episodes voices the abuela of the kids.
well, hello.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
can that get any better?
I know. It was already at 100. Now it's
and
just
that she's voicing abuela.
Right.
Which, speaking of Jenny Lorenzo, I actually wanted to bring this up during like the show. Did you see her latest? And Jenny Lorenzo, shout out to you.
The parents.
taking pictures.
I thought of your parents.
That is totally my parents taking pictures.
I thought, except for the one where he carries her, I thought of your parents.
Oh my God, me too. I was like, my dad wouldn't carry my mom. When I would travel a lot to my parents, especially during the European years
Yes.
that we would go to Europe every year, you know, that I'd be like, okay, you know, pretty thing in the background,
Right.
take a picture. And they'll be like, so like, they wouldn't know what to do. Like, do I put my arm around her? Do I just stand next to her?
My favorite are the pictures of your mother next to flowers.
Oh my God.
That should be like a series.
God. Oh my God, people, like listeners. So we would go, you know, I was very, very fortunate, especially during my college years. You know, I was able to travel to Europe a lot with my parents. And, you know, we'd go to all these beautiful places, these monuments. And I'll be like, ay, mira esa mata de rosa. Ay, Darien, ven. Tírame una foto con estas rosas. And I'll be like, while the flowers are pretty, it's like,
Right.
Like, I don't know.
But then also, like, as an example, you know, your mother wouldn't take a picture of her, like, smelling the roses. Or no, she just stands next to the bush.
Next to the rose bush.
Right.
Like, take a picture of me next to the rose bush. So, yeah, I have to tell you that my European vacations with my parents is like a spin-off show. It's like a spin-off of Pero Let Me Tell You. Because, like...
It's like when the Facts of Life went to Australia.
No, because you know what? Like, and this is on video, and this happened time and time again. I obviously would be the person taking videos, right? So we knew we'd be in Paris, and I'd be like taking video, you know, the Eiffel Tower, as one does, and I'd be like, "Pero Darien, no estás diciendo dónde estamos." So then I would
Las
say,
Vegas, clearly.
I would say something. Estamos en Beijing, China. And then you'd hear my parents be like, Darien, nosotros no estamos en Beijing. ¿Por qué tú estás diciendo eso? And I'm like, for the love of God. But it would never fail.
Great.
It would never fail. We'd be wherever. You know, be like, the Berlin Wall. Darien, pero no estás diciendo a dónde estás. And I'm like, are you serious? And it's not like I was like videotaping like really random obscure monuments.
Right.
It was like, you know, Big Ben.
Right. The Louvre.
You know, the Eiffel Tower. Right. You know, whatever. You know, the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Like, no, make sure you tell them where we're at.
We are here at the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Malaysia. And then I would come up with shit like that. And they'd be like, pero ¿por qué tú estás diciendo eso? Ahí no es donde nosotros estamos. And I'm like, what, do you think people are going to be confused who are watching the video?
Is it in Malaysia?
Right. The two people who are going to watch our home videos.
That's
because,
also,
like,
right.
Like, do you expect an audience for these home videos? Like,
we should rent out the Coral Gables cinema and just show your home videos.
No, my parents for years have been like, because we have those videos on like that Super 8. Like,
yeah.
Ay, ¿por qué no los ponemos en DVD? Which I think
That's
it's
nice.
a good idea. Yeah. But I think they have these like grand ideas that we're going to have like a viewing party for our European, you know.
I would go. I would live stream that shit.
Just to be like, Darien, Darío no está diciendo dónde estamos.
I think we should do it. I think we should invite listeners. I think we should hold it at an auditorium.
There is this one video, though, and this is really, and I have this on video, that we were in Lucerne, Switzerland, and we were staying in this, like, really, we were staying in what used to be, like, the nuns' quarters of a church. And so we were staying in, like, a very small town, and there was a moment that it was not planned, that I'm videotaping my parents and they're walking across the street, and the I forgot what time it was, that the bell tower of the church goes off.
Right.
But then we didn't know where we were going, and then I was following my parents because I was videotaping it.
Okay.
You know when you're videotaping something, you kind of are not...
Yeah, you're focused on your video.
Right. And I'm just following my mom, and I noticed that she walked into a cemetery. And then the
bells went off.
going off, and she's like in the cemetery, and it was like cloudy and rainy. I'm like, are we filming a horror movie? And then when my mom figures out que estamos, she's like, ay, estamos en un cementerio. Daniel, apaga la cámara.
Did she think one was going to come home with you? Like in Haunted Mansion?
And we watched that so many times. Yeah, but it'd be like, Daniel.
That alone is worth the price of admission.
Yeah. Oh, I know, listeners. I there is a way that I have to work on it. Me, you always see my parents a lot now, especially here at the house. We need to find a way to like get them on the show.
We need to figure it out. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I don't know if we have to plant hidden cameras and microphones.
Because the thing with my parents is that, like, let's say that I twist their arm enough
to be on the show.
I don't think they're going to be on.
Nope, they're not.
They're going to be like...
Nope.
They're going to be like, estamos en el podcast.
Yeah, they're going to be like, ¿y cuáles son las preguntas? Right, like, it's going to be very... Right.
Like, we need to have them on without knowing.
I'm telling you, you need to set up, like, cameras just all around the house and hidden microphones and just let it go. Just let her rip.
And then if something inappropriate comes, just we edit it out.
We edit that out. Yes. We don't want to be canceled before we've begun.
So anyway, I also wanted to leave with the fact that I'm reading here, and this will be our last little tidbit, that Oscar Mayer is introducing a hot dog flavored ice cream.
Ew.
That's disgusting.
But why didn't you say that to next week so we could at least give it a gasless soda?
Anyway, on that note, everybody, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And as always, remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great weekend.
All right, cuídense, mi gente. Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.